So we are up to fourth section, chapter 7 and first paragraph. And let's change the world. As we know, when we learn Torah together, we are actually changing the world through Zoom. We're all connected. All right, so he says like that. So he's speaking about the section has to do with Avodas Hashem, and here it focuses, meaning how to serve God. But here it focuses specifically on now the mitzvahs that are connected with time. Avodah Hazmanim, right? We a little bit being in Egypt is being a bit confined by time. We just had Pesach, and one of the way to come out of Egypt is to hurry quickly and eat, make a matzah that is less than 18 minutes and eat the afikoman before 12 o'clock, and make sure we go out of Egypt before, the next day, because basically if they had stayed in Egypt a minute longer or a second later, says our sages, we will have been obliterated, meaning we have been completely assimilated and no way to be redeemed. So what's the concept? What does that mean? That means that there was a need for something that transcends nature. We needed to transcend nature. Time and cycle, by definition, right? Time and space, this is nature. And we needed to transcend nature because we needed to be a nation that represents the transcendental. The Jewish people are people that defy logic. As we know from the famous quote from Mark Twain, what is the secret of his immortality of the Jewish people? It doesn't make sense. We should have been gone long time, but we're still here, still put on films, still lighting Shabbos candles and all that. So we have to understand that we're connected with time, and you have to try to transcend time, and so that we become supernatural people, and in our with Hashem in everything. So let's continue. Let's start. Periodic observances are those which are obligatory only on particular days of the year. These include abstaining from work on the Shabbos and sanctifying the Shabbos, abstaining from work and fasting on Yom Kippur, resting on the holy days and sanctifying them and their intermediate days, like Chol HaMoed. Obligations regarding chametz and matzah when they are applicable, the shofar on Rosh Hashanah, the sukkah and lulav on Sukkot, Rosh Chodesh, Chanukah and Purim. The significance of these periodic observances, meaning those holidays that have to do with time, will now be explained. So here, as we know, the Ramchal always has his own. The Ramchal, what's unique about the Ramchal, he goes to the root of what the foundation of Judaism is. How does it work? So here he's going to explain about Shabbos. Okay, so it's going to bring us on a little trip, a Shabbos trip, and let's see what he says. So the basic idea of the Shabbos is related to a fact which was mentioned earlier, namely that for the sake of the purpose of creation, most of what is found in the world is mundane and not holy. Right? You go in the world, and the majority of the stuff in the world is just mundane, just not holy. So we are surrounded by neutral type of energy, so to speak. It's neutral energy. On the other hand, it was deemed necessary that creations also be given some holiness, so that the world's spiritual darkness does not overwhelm them. So we're put in a world that is mostly mundane, and we know there's a lot of darkness, especially, as you say in the beginning of the book, there's more spiritual darkness than positive darkness since the sin, right? Adam Rishon lowered the level of the world, and now there's more darkness, meaning there's more tension, more desire for the physical than the spiritual. It's not like people wake up in the morning, it's like, I want to be close to God. I want to pray. I want to learn. I want to be so holy, right? No, usually it's like, oh, I want a good cup of coffee. Oh, I wish I could sleep more. Oh, I don't want to work. I just want to rest and do nothing. I want to suntan, right? That's usually, so we know that we're there's an unbalance between the spiritual and the physical, between the holy and the mundane. So, but God gives us the tools, gives us the key, gives us the gift of holiness to be able to fight it. Okay, we're soldiers of holiness, and we have to understand that we are here to elevate everything. These matters, in their appropriate measures, were decided by the highest wisdom with absolute precision. How much of the dark and mundane will be necessary for creation, and how much of the holy must be added on. So God, made everything. So God made everything in its specific measure, and in order to make a system that works for us. So God delineated all of this in the proper measures in terms of both quantity and quality, regarding time, space, and every other phenomena that exists in creation. Thus, the concept of time was divided in 2 days. Not in 2 days, was divided in 2 days. Those which are mundane and those which are holy. Regarding the days which are holy, they are varying degrees of holiness, some being more holy than others, as deemed appropriate by God. Further, it was decreed that the great majority of days will be mundane and not holy, and the minority which are holy will only be in a number and measure that is necessary. By the way, this is very important, because one of the hardest things that I was confronted with when I discovered Judaism, when I became religious and I started looking at Judaism, I saw, if you look at all the Jews, there's, let's take, for example, let's take all the Jews. So there are all the Jews, you have the religious and the non-religious. How many are religious? Well, there's a lot, but not so many compared to the non-religious. There's so much more non-religious than non-religious. And now taking just the religious, from the religious who is really truly holy, only a small minority, right? When I mean holy, I don't mean like super ultra orthodox. I mean really spiritual, really connected to God, really doing the mitzvah the right way with holiness and all that, with good character traits. It's a minority, and it's like there's a lot of women and real women, very few real men. So which brings us to the Shidduch crisis. So somehow already we are in a world where the holy, or what is really precious, what is really spiritual, is very small. It's in small quantity. It's a little bit like the story of Hanukkah, right? There's a little bit of oil, can last long, right? That was Yosef was alone against all the forces of darkness. But just one Yosef was able to change all of Egypt, right? And save all his family. So the concept of the tzaddik, the concept of the spiritual in this world is always a minority. And that's what Jews, same thing. You have a lot of nations, 70 nations, and only one holy people connected to God are supposed to inspire everyone. So just like tzaddikim, the few tzaddikim, and the idea is that that's the system. It's hard to understand, right? It's like why is it like that? But every religion, every group, every nation, there's only a few individuals who really live the religion the way it's supposed to be, who really work with honesty, who really, do things the way they're supposed to. So it's not easy to live in a world like that, but you have the choice to be part of the masses, right? Or you can be that individual. Who do you want to be? Do you want to be general? You want to be mundane, part of the mass, like the sheep, right? That Paro was trying to control everything through the power of the sheep. Or you shech the ship and you go like Abraham Ha'ivri. On the other side, you go against the current, against the flow of the water, and you become a real Jew. So that's not easy, and that's the world we live in now. So he's saying that everything is, you still have 6 mundane days and one day of holiness, right? 6 days of the week and Shabbat. 7 was the appropriate measure for the repeating cycle, for all creation came into existence over a period of 7 days, so that creation's entire being is contained in this number. This is 7. This is the magic number. As we know from those who know a bit about Kabbalah, we have it corresponds to the 7 sfirot. Again, with my my chart, right. Okay, so you have the 3 top sfirot on the head, and then the 7 on the body. You can call them chakras if you want, or energy centers. But God created the world with the 7 days of the week correspond to those 7 from Chesed to Malchut, which correspond, by the way, to Sfir Saomer. Right now we're counting Sfir Saomer, the 7 days, which goes from Chesed to Malchus. Every week we work on a different character trait. Hopefully, the few who do it, right? It's the minority, as always. Now, technically, you'll ask me, Rabbi, very nice, but there's a problem. It says that the world was created in 10 steps, and 7 is not the number for perfection. 10 is the number for perfection. The Pirkei Avos says like that, right? That's 10 mamarot, 10 mamarot, with 10 sayings, utterances, the world was created. So why do we have 7? It should have been 10. Well, guess what? It was supposed to be 10. But what happened? Something got messed up on the 6th day. What? We, the people, humanity, Adam and Eve, ate from the fruit on the 6th day. So what happened is that we were supposed to go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then make the whatever mitzvah we were supposed to do in Gan Eden, and then continue 8, 9, 10, and then we will have been 7 will have been like you will have come into Shabbat. It will have been Moshiach time already, and then 8, 9, 10 will have been Olam Haba. But what happened on the 6th day? We fell, and when we fell from our spiritual level, so we couldn't continue 7, 8, 9, 10. So we had to go back to the we could say go back to the beginning. Because what happened is that when we do an action, that was the greatness of Adam Arishon, when he did an act, that sin, he affected the entire 6 days. So the entire 6th day, it was like we are all in the same boat, like Noah's Ark, right? We're all in the same boat. Is if I make a sin and by making a hole into the boat, then you all fall with me, right? So the whole creation got affected, and since all of creation was connected, was string theory, right? It's all connected to Adam, because man is a microcosm of the world. The whole creation was affected. Therefore, he affected the 6 first days. So now what happened? We have to fix those 6 days of creation. And what happened? Every week, you try to fix it. Did I fix the 6 days? And then God gave us Shabbat as a gift. I'm just going to explain more about that. But God gave Shabbat as a gift to rest and see, okay, did I fix my world? Did I fix the 6 days of creation? And every week we go again and again, see, okay, 6 days, did I fix it? No? Okay, again. Then, on top of that, we know that because of that, the whole 6 days of creation got transformed into 6,000 years, right? 6 days for 6,000 years. Right now, we're in year 5,781. Therefore, there are 219 days, 219 years before the end of the 6th millennium. And then after that, we're going to enter into the area of Moshiach. So in 219 days, max, we enter into the Moshiach. Moshiach will be here already with the temple. That's the limit. So that's the latest he can come. So hopefully it come before that, so we don't have to wait too long and eat too many matzahs on every Pesach again and again. It's getting a bit dry. So what's happening is that so we're still on the 6th day, and and I want to show you this also. Now I'm very visual. I like to show pictures, right? You have the 6th day of 6,000 years, which correspond to the 6 days of the week. So you have the first millennium, right? 4th, 5th, 6th. We're here, and then we'll have Shabbat. And in a way, it's gonna be like, it says the end of days, right? It's gonna be end of days because it's the end of the week, because it's gonna be a new consciousness, a new world. The entire physical creation is going to be elevated. It's going to become more spiritual. We're going to be able to fly. Our souls able to fly. We'll be able to communicate, have telepathical communication. We'll be able to communicate with angels, with God, whatever it is. We'll be on a very spiritual level. But there has to be a shift that's entering into the time of Shabbat. Okay, I already spoke too much outside the book, but just to understand really what's happening, that really was supposed to be 10 days, but because we messed up, now we're stuck with the 7 days a week that we're trying to fix. I mean, the 6th day of the week trying to fix. The Shabbat given as a day of holiness to fix the 6 days. And then eventually when we finish that and we fix it, we're going to the 7th millennium, meaning we finally going to enter into Shabbat, the Shabbat that we are supposed to deserve. From our action of eating the right fruits in Gan Eden and come close to God. And then 8, 9, 10, the day 8, 9, 10, which correspond to 3 stages of Olam Haba. So 8th millennium, 9th millennium, 10th millennium. After 10,000 years of history, we don't know what happened. Only very deep, real Mikubalim know what's happening then. They didn't want to tell me, so I guess I'm I don't know, just like you. We'll find out soon, hopefully. Now let's continue. So 7 was the appropriate number. Accordingly, it is fitting that this number of days be considered a complete cycle, like we saw in the circle. For this cycle contains everything necessary for creation as a whole, no more being required, existence in its entirety having been completely within this interval. However, so meaning that God put everything in these 7 days, everything in creation necessary for creation to perfect itself. However, the cycle of days constantly repeats itself until the end of the 6,000 years, which will comprise the full span of physical human history. Okay, remember that on Gan Eden, when we speak about the story of Adam and Eve in Gan Eden, actually maybe that's what we should do as a group when we finish the book, because the story of Gan Eden is the most powerful story in the world. It was like 10 billion views. Hollywood was like sold out for years. No, I'm joking, but it's Gan Eden story is really the best story in the world.
Love to hear that. Would love that.
Yes, Bezat Hashem, we'll try to make it happen. If one understands the story in Gan Eden, basically one understands everything, because the story of Gan Eden is the story of everything that happened after Gan Eden is a reenactment of Gan Eden. You are in a reenactment of Gan Eden. Your life is a reenactment of Gan Eden, and the key is to, keep learning the story that everybody keeps, that just tell, or the story that everybody looks at. Oh yeah, there was a man and a woman that they were naked, and it was paradise, and and there was a snake, and the snake had legs and talks, and he pushed them to eat the apple, and it was not even an apple, but whatever. And they that's it. They sinned and they were ashamed, and here is the world we're born in sin. But really, it has nothing to do with that. There was no physical being there. It was Gan Eden. Everything was spiritual. So there was no us in skin like we look now, right? As we know, the nails reminds us of how we were made of. But anyway, I'm not gonna, give you more secrets about that story. We'll keep you excited, suspense for the best of all, bestseller from all the Hollywood movies. That's the Gan Eden story. I don't know why they didn't do a movie about it. Anyway, Okay. So the cycle of 7 also exists on a large scale, spanning all the years of human history.
Hey, Rabbi.
Yes.
When are we gonna talk about the Gan Eden thing?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
it's so fascinating to me. I heard so many different things on it, and I love it. So when is that gonna take place?
It's gonna take place. Depends how much I speak.
Okay, so go ahead.
But actually, we're almost done the book. Really, I think in 2 or 3 classes we'll be able to do it. So I think in 2 or 3 weeks. I think if we can do it by before Shabbat, which is perfect because Shabbat is when we go back to Gan Eden level. So
Okay, perfect.
All right. But yeah, it's really it's a story that we need to study to learn. Okay, let's continue. So I lose myself. Okay, this cycle of 7 also exists on a large scale, spanning all the years of human history. Because that was what I was speaking before. Very often I get so excited and I speak ahead of the Ramcha. Existence is divided into 6 periods, each containing 1,000 years, followed by a 7,000-year period, which will be a period of rest. Like we described, 6 days for 6,000 years, and then the period of rest, 1,000 years, which is Shabbat. At the end of this large-scale cycle of 7, all existence will be renewed under a new organization and order according to the highest wisdom's decree. We think we know how Gan Eden, meaning when Moshe is going to come, what's going to happen. It's going to be crazy, guys. We have no idea. Understand that's going to be a 3rd temple. And the 3rd temple is not the temple of the Jews, because it says, based hamim, that it's going to be a house of prayer for all the nations. You're going to have the Chinese with the African, with the Muslims and the Christians. I mean, obviously they all believe now in one God, but all people from all over the world, from Colombia and whatever, French, even French, and English people and Spanish, and everybody will be there, and everybody will pray together to Hashem in the 3rd Beis Hamikdash. We have no idea. There'll be a global spiritual consciousness where we will, communicate. Everybody will be meditating at that time, right? By the way, it's a great time now to start practicing meditating, because we'll be meditating 24/7. Meditating is not just sitting in a lotus position and that's not just that. Meditating is also using the power of your mind to be constantly focused, to think of God all the time, to be connected to your loved ones and to the people and to nature and to the animals and to the entire world. Crazy stuff. So exciting to be Jewish. Woo! Okay. Existence is divided into 6 periods, right? Okay. At the end of, in both cases, regarding the 7-day cycle and the large-scale cycle, it was decreed that the end of the cycle, the end of the cycle be holy, meaning Shabbat, right? The 7th, the end of the cycle, the 7th millennium, which is going to be Gan Eden level, which will bring great elevation to the entire cycle. For even though most of the days of the cycle would be mundane, and only 1/7 would be holy, which, as mentioned, is all the holiness that is necessary. Still, being that the holy component is the cycle's last component and serves as a seal on the cycle, because Malchut is the kingdom, is when all those powers of the 6 days of creation, all the spheros, all those energies become contained into Malchus. Malchus is the royalty, meaning becomes. They work together to reveal God's plan, and to make God king of the world and reveal his royalty kingdom. So the result is that the holy components rectifies and uplifts the prior days of the cycle, so that in the end, all of man's days are made holy. So we work 6 days, right? We go 6 days of the week, and we're involved with working and dealing with whatever problems, trauma, relationships, corona, all that stuff. working to make food, we have to eat, we have to sleep, we have to do all those, going to the bathroom even, all those things, all that looks like really mundane. And we try to elevate those things. We try to transform the mundane into something spiritual, which is not easy. So what happened is that we come at the end of the week and we say, okay, how much did I fix this week? How much did I elevate? How much of the 6 days of the week have I fixed? And you connect yourself to Shabbat, and you by connecting yourself to the power of Shabbat, meaning you connect yourself to the purpose of creation, you connect yourself to Hashem, you're able to infuse all the 6 days, whatever you were not able to make holy during the 6 days, right? You are able to elevate on Shabbat. That's the power of Shabbat. Shabbat is from the same letters as Tashuv, right? Shabbat is the ability to return everything that you messed up during the week, everything you didn't do that was not holy, you're able to elevate on Shabbat. Shabbat is crazy, guys. People don't know what Shabbat is. Shabbat is super awesome. But the problem, people don't know how to celebrate Shabbat. They feel like it's a prison. It's like, there's nothing more exciting than Shabbat. Shabbat is the highest of all the holy days. You understand? Shabbat happens every week. We know there's a law in spirituality that something that happens, the more often it happens, the more holy it is. Shabbat is the most consistent of all the holidays. We have 52 Shabbat a year. So really, when we tap into what Shabbat really is, which almost nobody knows what Shabbat really is, we're just starting to touch the tip of the iceberg. You can't wait for Shabbos, right? Can't wait. And people's like, oh, Shabbos is here, I can't do anything. No. That's misunderstanding. You have to understand, being a Jew and being religious is the most exciting way of life. Otherwise, why would I do it? I'm not crazy. I'm a normal guy. I want to enjoy life. Well, God say, you really, really want to enjoy life. I have something for you. It's called Judaism. Just do it. And actually, not just do it. You have to do it the right way. But it's if we learn every mitzvah, every holiday, everything, if we learn to do it the right way, it can be an awesome, spiritual, exciting, happy experience. It gives us all the strength, all the tools we need to come close to God, to be happy. Well, that's what we're doing now. We're trying to go into the understanding of that. But guys, you have to know there's so much misconception in the world. We have to really learn not to fall in prey to the misconception. If you do something in Judaism and it feels annoying, it feels boring, it feels repetitive, it feels like a prison, like pressure, you're not living Judaism. You're not understanding what Judaism really is. Judaism is a way of life that is liberating. Judaism is giving the tools to experience the best of life. So discover the real Judaism, guys. And you don't have to be Reform or conservative or nothing. You can stay Orthodox and still have the best time ever. I mean, I am. I hope you all able to experience it very quickly. All right, so let's continue. Let's discover this awesome thing called Judaism. So the Shabbos, therefore, was a great gift that God gave to Israel, given because his desire was that Israel be his holy nation. He did not give this gift to any of the rest of the nations in any sense, for the unique elevation which one experiences on the Shabbos is neither fitting nor intended for them. So out of all the, that technically a non-Jew can do all the mitzvahs of the Torah. Yes, really. Yeah, they didn't tell you that in school or in yeshiva. Yeah, because they don't teach you the exciting stuff, the secret stuff. But I love to find out all the secret stuff. So a non-Jew can do all the mitzvahs of the Torah if he wants. However, he cannot do Shabbat and he cannot do Pesach completely. Those are the two things he cannot do, because those two things represents the complete intimacy that we have with God, our uniqueness, the fact that I made the choice to be a Jew, I made the bris milah, I converted, whatever it is, because we're only born Jewish because we converted in the past, right? We're all reincarnations from the past, and we have our mission here, and so we deserve. This is our. It's not that we are better than a non-Jew. It's that we have a greater responsibility and therefore a greater privilege due to our choice, right? So this is experienced through Shabbat. Shabbat is unique for us. It's a sign of love from God. It says, guys, I really love you and I'm giving you Shabbat. And that's why Shabbat really, it's very romantic. You know, God is a French romantic. You know, he wants us to put candles and, you know, a lot of lights everywhere, and then some nice good French wine for Kiddush, you know, and, you know, everything is nice. Everybody dressed like a wedding day. And it's like our anniversary with Hashem, right? Anniversary that we chose him, that we're in love. Right? Imagine we celebrate our anniversary with our, you know, girlfriend or spouse every week. You know, that would be cool. You know, which day of the week did you get engaged? Oh, you know, on Tuesday. Every Tuesday you celebrate. That's Shabbat. That's Shabbat. Awesome stuff. Very romantic. You know, you have to be a bit of a romantic, I must say. But God is very romantic. This is on Pesach. When we read on Pesach, we read Shir Hashirim, the story of a man and a woman who meet, who fall in love with each other, but, you know, they're running after each other, but it's, you know, they're trying to get together, and it's not easy. But at the end, finally, they, you know, it's like better than the Notebook movie and any romantic stories. They find each other again. The Jewish people and Hashem. Yeah, God is cool. That's really cool. So Shir Hashirim story is great thing to study. Maybe one day we'll study it. It's very high level. I don't even understand like 1 of a million of a thousandth of a percent, but just the idea of what it means, it's amazing. Okay, we explained above that man is effectively lowered by having to cope with the physical world. His involvement causing him to become closely attached to the mundane and material, casting him down from the elevated status which is his due. Right? Because the moment you wake up, you know, you're bombarded with hormones and physical desire that from your body, moods, you know, the weather affects you. So we're bombarded by physical stuff. But on the Shabbos, man needs to become released from mundane attachment. For the Shabbos is higher than other days, and man thus must conduct himself in a manner consistent with the day's sublimeness. So in order to, so we understand that on Shabbos, it says, Chazal says that on Shabbos there's no Yetzer Hara. And I don't know for others, but I experienced it that it's much easier to be holy on Shabbos than during the rest of the days. Like natural, I don't run as much after my desire, and it's a very you know, everything stops. It becomes part of your natural system to be able to disconnect from everything. But you're given all that power, but you need, if you really want to connect to the full power of Shabbos, you need to behave in a way that is consistent with the day. You know, so like I say, if you want to, you know, have an intimate connection with God, then you need to act intimately, and you know, it's a quality time. We spend Shabbos is like a meditation day. You spend 24 hours meditating on who you truly are. What have I accomplished? Where am I going? Am I going the right direction? Am I close to you, God? Am I bringing my everyday life, you know, close to you? That's what Shabbos is in, and we have to behave in the proper way. The whole thing with davening first of all is meditation technically. Eating also is a type of, you know, semi-spiritual experience that we're trying to do, like bring a carbon. So everything we do on Shabbos has to fit Shabbos so that we can really connect to the entire power of Shabbos. The divine wisdom did set a measure, however, as to how much man should sever his connection to the physical and how much attachment must remain. So he doesn't want us to be completely disconnected from the physical. That's why we can still eat, sleep, and, you know, do stuff on Shabbos. But man was then commanded to disengage himself up to the appropriate level and maintain that level the entire Shabbos. This in essence is the idea of melachot, activities that are forbidden on Shabbos. So in order to disconnect from the physical, I want to try to understand why we can do those things on Shabbos, why yes, why not? Because God is saying, if you want to disconnect from the physical world, from the mundane, and attach yourself from the holy, there's 39 things, 39 actions that are gonna, that you need to disconnect to, because those 39 actions are very physical actions, and they keep you in the mundane, in the physical. So I detach myself by not doing it. It allows me, it's like when you fast. When you fast, you stop eating, your soul disconnect from your body, right? That's why if you fast for many days, you die. Your soul completely disconnect. So when you eat, it puts you together. So staying on Shabbos, the things that keeps you connected to the mundane is the 39 works that we do during the week, that includes every possible physical action that connects you to the mundane. So 39 things you disconnect, and now you can have your soul also, and the power of Shabbos connect to your soul, and you can connect to the holiness of Shabbos. Now you're going to ask me, why 39 melachos of Shabbos? We know there's no number by coincidence, because 39, guess what? Adam and Eve, when they sinned, they brought 39 curses into the world. Man was cursed with 10 curses. The woman was cursed with 10 curses. The snake was cursed with 10 curses. And the earth was cursed with 9 curses. That's why there are 39 curses. And so that brought us down from Gan Eden, right? The 39 curses, detach us from the spiritual thing. So what happened? Now, when we stop doing those 39 are connected to the 39 curses. Technically, we don't need to go work for food and all that. That was not the original plan. The original plan is to be connected to God and spiritually be in love with Him and learn from Him and get close to Him little by little. But because we messed up, we got disconnected on 39 level. And now, each time we come on Shabbos and we stop doing those 39, so we stop being involved with the curses of the world, right? Some people, they love to work. What do you mean? Love is a curse. Love to work. Work is a curse. We're not supposed to work. You're supposed to enjoy life and be connected to God, right? So, but we're not there yet. We're getting there. So 39, when we stop the 39 curses, the 39 works of the week, then we're able to enter into the dimension of Gan Eden. We reconnect to the original power of Gan Eden. That's what Shabbos is. So you understand that we're talking about, something powerful here. One more small paragraph, and then if you have questions, I'll let you ask your questions. So, besides the fact that we are forbidden, by the way, the 39 curses, the 39 melachos of Shabbos, it's not what you think. It's not just, I do this, I don't do this. Every melacha teaches you about how to be connected to God in holiness during the week. Everything you do on Shabbos, let's say you go to the bathroom, right? And you say you can't tear toilet paper on the thing. Because what's happening? What does God want? God wants that even during the week, even when you go in the most mundane thing in the bathroom and, excuse my language, but you pee and you poop, right? It looks like it's terrible. It's like animals do that. And you do that. And God said, even when you go to the bathroom, I want you to be connected to me. I want you to remember me. So if you practice on Shabbat being connected to God in the bathroom, right? Because you're reminded, I can tear the toilet paper. So it keeps your thoughts busy with the idea of what you're supposed to do to stay connected to holiness. When you go during the week and you go to the bathroom, even to the lowest level of mundane life, you will remember God. Remember, I can go to the bathroom for God. This can be used for holiness also. I can stay connected. So every melacha teaches you something different about how to be connected to God. This was just a glimpse, a taste. But there is more, of course. Okay, last paragraph. Besides the fact that we are forbidden to do anything to damage the holiness that is transmitted on Shabbat, we are also commanded to honor the holiness. This includes such observance as Shabbos delight, Oneg Shabbos. Oneg Shabbos, what's the idea of Oneg Shabbos? To honor the holiness. That's what Oneg Shabbos, right after the meal, singing and things, is to honor the holiness. We rejoice that there's something called holy. That's something that can lift us up from the physical and the mundane, as well as honoring the arrival of Shabbos with Kiddush and its departure with Havdalah. All those are things to celebrate the gifts of Shabbos and the fact that we can be connected to holiness even in this lowly world, that we can be connected to God. We can transcend our limitation. We can transcend the problems of the week. We have to be able to enter into Shabbos with, Shabbos is like Shevet, is like to relax, to sit down, to stop everything we're doing and not to worry anymore. Right now, there's nothing that is important. It's just me and God, and at the end, that's the only thing that exists. Everything else doesn't matter, because as long as it's me and God and we love each other, just like two lovers, the world can fall and burn, doesn't matter. I'm connected to God. There's nothing else. The world is created for you. There's just you and God. Doesn't mean you shouldn't care about others, of course, but the idea is to understand how to disconnect from anything else, and understand that there's only one reality, you and God, for you, and everybody has the same reality in the same time. And that's the power of the quantum world, quantum physics, multiverses, but that's for another discussion. These and other particulars of observance all revolve around the same basic idea, that a person should conduct himself on the Shabbos in a way that is appropriate in light of the great holiness that avails itself to him on this day. Man gives honor to the day's elevated nature and shows his recognition of its purpose, which is to promote greater closeness and attachment to God. Shabbos is all about love, guys. It's all about falling more and more in love with God, and seeing that all the pleasures you have in your life, all the challenges, all that is all a challenge to grow closer to God. I know it's not easy. It's a lot of darkness, a lot of pain, a lot of trauma, and a lot of suffering. But all this is like a seed that can give us the key and the path and the understanding and the knowledge on how to connect to God. There's no 2 days without a night in between, right? Day, night, day. Holiness, mundane holiness, light, darkness, light, darkness. That's the way of the world. One's intent also should not be afford honor. One's intent also should be to afford honor to the one who gives us this wonderful gift. In fact, all these different observances relate to the Shabbos holiness in all its particular aspects, and they follow from the day's inherent nature and commemorate the true benefits that it brings. Look at this. So we're stopping about Shabbos here. Any questions on what we said? Or was everything crystal clear and so amazing? There's nothing to say.
I'm wondering if you could share with us any Shabbos, just a couple of tips, and Shabbos is coming up real close, how we could begin to, or continue, or I'm just speaking for myself, to appreciate the holiness. Are there any advice, any ideas, or like quick, practical tools to enhance Shabbos?
So actually, I made a list of how to make Shabbos the best day of the week. Practical tools on how to do that. So it'll be too long to do it now. I will put it in the chat, and there you'll be able to read all the ways how you can make Shabbos the best day of the week. How does that sound?
Perfect. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
So
Any other questions? Or we're good? I guess now you're also excited about Shabbos. You can't wait. So exciting. All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming. This is every week. Today's Wednesday. Yeah. Every Wednesday, 7:30. We're changing the world. Believe it or not, we just changed the world by learning about Shabbos. and our little group is just enough to bring Moshiach. So hopefully it gets here closer and closer. Looking forward to see you all next week, and feel free to have questions on the chat group if you have.
Thank you.
All right, my pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Right.
It was great.
Thank you. Bye.
Everybody, great Shabbos.
You too.
Thank you.